Hello and welcome. I see some faces, so if you would like to share your face through webcam, that's totally fine. I like it to see you. I like to see some reactions and, if you feel comfortable. I hope you can all hear me well and can see me and can see the presentation, obviously. And we will start right away. So yeah, client work 2.0 or 2.0, depends on who says it. But what does it actually mean? Today, it's a little teaser. It's, just to give you some quick overview of what this workshop will be about, and for sure also some nice inspirations, some goodies for you. First of all, would like to introduce myself. On the left side, you see my chart. Looks a bit different than most of the charts that you will have because this is, yeah, pretty rare, this configuration. Doesn't mean it's special or unique in that sense that it's better, but it is rare in the style of that it occurs. So this is called a mental projector, and no worries, you don't need to understand this. This is just you heard it now, the term, and I'm a guide, author, and teacher. Also a student still. I guess I will never end to be a student. And I'm experimenting with human design since 2018. But before that, I was involved in a lot of different practices of kind of coaching and also therapeutic alternative stuff, spiritualism, mysticism, um, holistic approaches of healing, shamanism. So my life before human design was pretty much, mm, yeah, I was pretty much involved in a lot of things that had to do with healing or have a better life or be more stable, more grounded, and so on. So here's a little thing I like to say. Seeing your client truly brings the possibility of awakening a person, because this is actually what human design can bring. I mean, this is a possibility. It's not a promise. Don't get me wrong. Whatever I will say, don't believe me. I always say this because I'm just a person. You don't need to believe me anything. And this is merely about inspiring you, giving you different perspectives, and maybe clarity or insights. So, regards me, what else? I had my up and downs in this experiment. I started human design not in the sense of I was in a very bad place and it came to me. I was actually in a good place. So the first three times when it came to me, I rejected it. I was like, I don't want to have to do anything with this. I have my own philosophy. I know my stuff. I don't need this. But then after a while, somebody persistently invited me again and again into this. And then I said, okay, what can I lose? And I did it. And I was shocked to the bone. I was like, wow, what the hell is this? And how does this work? Like, how can a system like this beautiful little graphic here, tell so much about what's going on inside of me that I didn't even share with not even my brother or girlfriend or whatever? So it kind of hooked me. And I was super intrigued and interested in seeing how the person who gave me the reading came up with what the person said. You're this and you can do that, and here's the limitation, and this is how it works. And we will come into a moment to what human design actually is. But before that, I would really like to understand who is you. So if you could tell me briefly what your profession is. I don't know if you're a coach or a therapist or you work with children or whatever, and maybe why you're here. And if you already know your human design chart, or if it's the first time you ever saw your chart today, if you know what is your type, your profile, what is your inner authority. So there's a little example on the bottom that you know what I need. It's not like that everybody needs to share 5 minutes. It's literally just, I am this, I work for, or I work as blah. I am blah, 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 blah. I'm intrigued because I could support my clients. I'm a manifesting generator, 5-1 profile, authority, this and that. So super simple. Um, and I would just like to see and hear you if you want. I have a little insight now about who you are, and it's interesting to see that there's different fields and different types. But first of all, what is human design? I mean, this question I could talk, I don't know, 4 hours about explaining what human design is because it is a very holistic, broad thing. This is not just Human design is this. Human design is a lot of things because it is a system that is pretty holistic in the sense of it covers very different disciplines like psychology. It covers dietary regimen. It covers uh, decision making. It covers relationship dynamics, mechanics of and chemistry, biology, and teamwork, group work. Insane, it goes even to sociology. It's a big, big thing. And me studying since 7 years, I know maybe, I don't know, 20% of it because it's so vast. But yeah, basically, it is a system that shows us what differentiation the other or ourselves is bringing to the table. It's a manual, or you can say blueprint, if you will, for uniqueness. Excuse me. Because we often tend to compare what do we have what do we both have? You are a nurse and I'm a nurse. Oh, you work with what I work with. But this is not what it's about in life. In life, it's about what is the differentiation you bring. Because if we see life from the perspective of everything is unique, you are unique. Most of the hatred will fall away. It's just disappearing, dissolving. Because if something is unique, you cannot compare it. You cannot be jealous about it. You cannot try to achieve it because you are unique too. There's no need to achieve something that somebody else brings because you are unique too. And what you do is perfect and is exactly what is necessary. Same for the other. This system was kind of channeled, if you will, through a pretty deep, unusual experience from a guy who called himself Ra Uruhu. He already died, 2011. But after he received this knowledge through this mystical experience, there is a video on YouTube if you're interested into that. It's called Encounter with the Voice. It's for free. You can stream it there on YouTube. But yeah, we will not go there. But it's not something that is like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's weird. It's really weird. So that's why it's always about don't believe any of those things in human design. This is not a belief system. It's not another dogma. It's not an ideology. It's not a religion. It's merely information that you can take in, experiment with, validate, observe, and then see for yourself. It's a subjective experiment. And there is a language, there's knowledge in this language that you can use, apply, and play with. So my way is usually to empower people to just play with it. I mean, what can go wrong? You tried your whole life this way, didn't work so much. How about you try a different way? What can go wrong? The worst thing that you will experience is that it fails, but you have experience, at least. And it is not a psychological system in the sense of MBTI, 16 personalities, all these typical psychological things, or Freud or Jung or something. It has nothing to do with this. It's not that it categorizes specific diseases, illnesses, or alternate conscious states or something, and labels them. This is not about this. And it's also not a personality model that tries to categorize you or label you and put you in a box like this is you are more mathematical or whatever. This is not about this. It's a system that wants to or claims to be able to show you uniqueness. So it's practical knowledge because you can try it. It's not something, if you meditate 7 years, you most probably, your heart will open and blah, 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 all of this woo woo. It has nothing to do with this. It's pretty sober, it's practical, and it is something that will help you to make or to have correct interactions, not just with the other, but also with yourself and with life. If you want to see life as an entity that you encounter through the time being, There's ways of encountering life correctly, and there's ways of encountering life maybe not incorrectly, but with way more resistance, if you know what I mean. So, in essence, human design is about how to make decisions correctly. And why do I say this? Because if you think about that, we all always do and need to do and need to make decisions every second sometimes, especially if you work in fields of nursery or hospital or whatever, that you need to make decisions right away. You need to always make correct decisions. It's not so easy to make correct decisions. It's pressure. There's you know i- guilt included, shame, failure, all of this stuff. So if you know how to make decisions based on who you are, that at least yourself feels correct or at ease with the decision you made, whatever decision you made at least will feel correct. Like, okay, I did my best. Ra always, or not always, but he said once this beautiful sentence here: if you allow someone to be who they are and they allow you to be who you are, then that's love. Anything else is torture. And I highly agree with this. If we can allow the other to be who they are without trying to fix or change them, wow, that's something. And we will dive in the centers right now. This is something of the human design system that some of you maybe already know. Yeah, there's different centers, but it's very surface level, but it holds already so much knowledge and wisdom. I like to go back to this even now, even though I saw it like hundreds of times. I like to go back to this because it's just beautiful. So we see in our chart, you can see in your chart, in any chart, there's 9 different centers. It's 9 different geometric forms. And they are always in the same position and they have always the same quality. And those 9 centers, they represent energetics, different ways of how energy, life force flows through us, but also biological processes, you know, body chemistry, for example, like sadness, joy, pain, horniness, fatigue, whatever the case may be. But also it displays potentials. Where is something regards our not just the body, but regards our existence that is reliable. It is also a blueprint for human life because this body graph is not just showing you what is, you know, regards humans, but you can also apply this to mammals, trees, you know, different life forms. I like to call these 9 centers the 9 dimensions of life because this is the 9 dimensions we meet through our life. We meet the dimension of emotions. We meet the dimension of survival. We meet this dimension of pressure and stress. We meet the dimension of love. We meet the dimension of expression and so on. You also will see here the keynotes photos. So this is the head center, the asana center, throat center. This little here is the ego heart center. Then we have the solar plexus. On the other side, the spleen, the root, sacral, and chi center. So it's really like those are the hubs. It's the hubs, and all of those are, or let's say most of those are connected to some glands. And we know that our glands in the body, they control most of this through different chemistry, you know, let it be, I don't know, serotonin, melatonin, dopamine, oxytocin, whatever. Yeah, all of this is very, very important. And through those centers, this is almost like different aspects that explain different processes of amino acid functions, regards our DNA and RNA. But nothing we need to know. It's just to give you this little background that there is actually a base behind this. This is not just woo woo. There is some science behind this that obviously needs to be proven by you because this is not a belief system. The basic mechanic that blew my mind in the beginning was there's open or undefined centers, and there is defined centers. So I will go back real quick. This here on the top is defined. Okay, it's colored in. So it's called defined. Everything here on the bottom is called undefined. You can also say open, but in the human design term, it's called undefined. When it's undefined, it takes things in, you know. My undefined throat takes in the energy of a defined throat. And my defined ajna affects and sends out for the world. Let's go back to the overview. So wherever you have a defined center, this is where you will affect your surrounding. You will send this quality outwards. Okay. This is something that is active and reliable. You can see it as a radio station, for example. You know, there's a radio station, and the radio station is broadcasting 90s, 80s rock only. Okay, it's very specific. So somebody with an open ajna, with an open sacral center, for example, or whatever center, this is the radio that receives this frequency of this rock radio station. And because all of us, we know radios, you can turn them up, you know? Oh, okay, you can amplify the frequency. But the moment that we identify by, oh, I make the music that I play here from this radio, then we're screwed. Because it's merely a receptor. So wherever is whiteness, openness in your chart, and for this I go back again, wherever there is something white, this is where you are receptive, okay? You receive energy from your environment, from the other. It's a very basic principle. So that means everything that is defined in your chart, this is fixed and this is reliable. And everything that is undefined in your chart, this is absorbing, receptive, and never reliable. This is merely where you go to school, where you learn, where you can become wise. The dilemma is that we have a mind. I mean, I guess some of you, maybe even all of you, know that the mind is not really reliable, you know? The mind in the morning says, oh, you should really do this. You could do that. You must have the blah, blah, you know? And then we do it and we fail. And then it's the mind, it's not saying, oh, I'm sorry. The mind says, okay, now do this. You know? It continues to bother us, annoying us. Do this, do that, blah, 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 blah. It's the purest commander, you know? Total dictator. But the thing is, the mind can never be the agent for making any correct decision. Why? Maybe some of you already know basics of neuroscience, but what neuroscience totally proved is that the mind is something that comes in the end. It's the last step before action is taken, you know? There is some new, or the latest scientific papers about decisions or processes in the body regards other people or reactions, is actually that it's not even the brain who makes the first step. It is actually coming from the nerve clusters in our solar plexus area, the stomach, the intestines, the organs. And then it will be transmitted up there through the nerves, vagus nerve or whatever. And then the mind will translate it and makes something out of it. Oh, this is dangerous. I should do this now. Or whatever the case may be. And by the way, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a biologist or something. If I do my mistakes, please correct me. I just try to give you some insight into this. But basically, the mind is not here to make any decision. And only this I can send you home now and say, okay, think about this for a week. What does it mean that the mind cannot make any decision? How often do you decide with the mind for whatever? You know, there is studies that say we have like 3 million thoughts a day, but we only are aware of maximum 300. And there's so much going on. And then we think those thoughts we have are even our own. It's not your thoughts. You don't have control over your thoughts. Or can you tell me now what is your next thought? You can't. Because your thinking is not you doing. It's not you don't do your thinking. Your thinking is done by your body. It's almost like a, and this, take this with a grain of salt, but for me thinking is just farts of the brain. It's a byproduct. It doesn't give us some practical advantage in life. It just gives us the idea, oh, I'm very smart. I'm clever. I'm intelligent. But at the end, what does it give you? If you are in scenarios where you cannot use your mind, what you gonna do? When it's about love, for example, you cannot use your mind when it's about love. When it's about care, real care, you cannot use your mind. I mean, your mind will say, oh, you should do this, and maybe you say that, and you can do this. But at the end, it's your body what has the frequency. What your body goes into interaction. It's something that you radiate. It's not like that the others is. I give you an example. You know, you feel lonely, you want to go out, and you really dress amazingly, and you put the best clothes, and you put your best cologne and whatever, and you go out, but your body is not in a good mood, so to say. So however you look and however your mindset is in this moment, nobody will feel attracted to you. You cannot change this with your mind. And I know that there is a lot of things outside NLP and, law of attraction and all of those things that say, no, the mind is the key and you need to, reprogram your mind. And I say the opposite. I am the heretic that says, fuck the mind. The mind is nothing. It's a beautiful tool when we want to communicate. I use my mind now to communicate by, using this metamorphosis potential of translating frequency and light and stuff into language. Wow, okay. Amazing. Bravo. But at the end, to make a decision, to go into action, to experience true love, to really care and help somebody purely from a raw core of human, it's from the body. It's not from the mind. The thing is, we have this dilemma that we make all the decisions based on the mind. That's why there is so much suffering. That's why there's so much distortion in this world. Wherever you go, it doesn't matter. And I traveled. I traveled Europe. I was in Australia. I saw many countries, many different cultures, many different people from all ages, age groups. They all suffer. Doesn't matter if they are rich or poor. They all struggled and suffered, were frustrated, bitter, angry. And the solution can be to just know, hey, don't listen to your mind. The mind is just entertaining. It's just entertaining. You don't need to listen to it. And that brings me to the functions of the centers, because with the functions we can understand a bit more. So I give you here some overview. Obviously, in the workshop we will go into this deeper. Hope that makes sense, because obviously I cannot give you all today. So here the head center is connected to the pineal gland. Ajna is neocortex, visual cortex, and anterior and posterior pituitary gland. So those two, they have some jobs to do. It's just not something irrelevant, How can I hope you can see? Okay. And throat center, for example, connected to thyroid system. The chi center is connected to the blood and the liver. Spleen is connected to lymphatic system, also the immune system. The root is connected to the adrenal glands. Sacral center is connected to ovaries and testicles. And I gave you a bit more insights here. For example, the heart center, that most of the people do not have reliable access to, by the way, is the motor for willpower, for liabilities, to be ambitious, ruthless, to have self-esteem, to be loyal, to have courage. and to be successful on the material plane, or at least have some reliable access to resources. And this is connected to the heart, gallbladder, stomach, and thymus gland. And now I want to ask you this, and I mean, all of you have a little bit of insight, or most of you have insight into medical stuff. The most common diseases are found here. I mean, heart, gallbladder, stomach. I mean, this is typical disease of humanity. Heart attacks, ulcers, autoimmune diseases, all of this stuff comes from here. Because this is the center, and I'll show you this here. This is a center that 63 of 100 people do not have reliable access. So what they do is they identify with this. They say, I want to have this too because my neighbor has it. I need to do this too. I need to have willpower. I need to prove myself. I need to make promises. I need to marry, and I have a contract, and all of this pressure on this willpower that is not there. And then, of course, you will have issues with these aspects here, with your heart, and so on. Okay? So you can really see, you can make connections. And this is not just only for medical stuff. You can connect this to many things, you know? The guy or the girl who says, oh, nobody loves me. Yeah, because the open heart. There's an open heart here that says you're worth nothing. You need to prove yourself first to be, worthy, or worthy of love, for example. And it's not true. It's just the mind giving you this idea. Because it came up with this idea when you were young. It said, oh, and you need to prove yourself. Because you see, Kevin got this, and Lisa got that. And they proved themselves, and they got it. So I need to do this too. And then you go with this mental strategy, and you do it your whole life, and try and try and try and push and initiate and do. And at the end, you say, oh, why did I do this? Why didn't I just let go? Now is the time you can let go right now. If this center here is open, white in your chart, you're not here to prove anything to anybody ever. Okay? And proving can also mean improving. It's a funny thing, but if you want to lose weight, it's not by using the willpower to do it. It's by, first of all, accepting who you are in this moment. Then the body can regulate and start healing. But if you go against it and push all the time, how should you ever be able to have the break your body needs to actually go into healing mode? Because, okay, this is my perspective, there's many opinions, but my perspective is the body can heal anything. You just need to let it do it. You need to give it the space that it can heal itself. No? And for sure, there is scenarios where we need a nurse, where we need a doctor, where we need a hospital. Yeah, if I would break my arm, I wouldn't say, okay, I will heal myself now. I will go there, it's fine. But in the most things that we experience as humans, I see people, they go to the hospital for every little shit. It's totally insane. Oh, I have gases. Oh, I feel very bloated. What should I do? Come on. Get some ginger. I don't know. Drink ginger tea. Rest a bit. Don't eat so much fat. I don't know. It's common sense, no? But yeah, this is people have no inner authority. They don't know how to make decisions, what they can trust. So what they do is they go to the people who they think they have authority. So we all, to some degree, give permission to other people who are totally different, give permission of our life. You tell me what is good for me. And they cannot know that. How should they know? They just have very generalized, homogenized statistics about this and that. Yeah, ibuprofen is good for you when you have this and that, but there's side effects of this and that. But, I cannot take this. If I take ibuprofen, wow, I go mad. I hallucinate. But the doctors always said, it's fine, it's fine. But it's not necessary. There's always other things. And you need to learn to listen to yourself and not be not self. Start to be self. And I'll go back here. Because also this is a big disease, solar plexus, kidney, lungs, pancreas, prostate, nervous system. Oh boy. I mean, the big disease in this world. I mean, how many men have prostate problems nowadays? Almost every third man. How many people have nervous system issues? And this is a big thing because nervous system issues means they can be connected to everything, you know, because the nervous system goes through the whole body. You can have migraines, you can have back pain, you can have erectile dysfunction, whatever the case may be. It's all based on nervous system. And this is just this one center here. So, and I give you a funny thing, solar plexus. This is about emotional. It's the emotional motor and awareness process in the waves. It's about moods, passion, desires, need, sex drive, lust, feelings, and emotional fears, nervousness. So let's say you are somebody who has this center open. I know there is some of you that have this center undefined. I don't know, 5 years ago, I guess it was 5 years ago, I was sitting in front of 25 people and I said, who of you thinks is emotional? And they were like, almost half of it raised the hand and said, oh, I think I'm emotional. And 99% of them were not emotional. They had this open. If this is open in your chart, you are not emotional. What you think you are is the emotions of others. You take them in. Remember, it was receptive. The radio, not the radio station. You take in the song and you think, oh, this is me. I cry and I make drama. I jump around like a flummy. But it's not you. But if you take this in, if you take all of this in over years and decades and never process it correctly, for sure you will have problems with your nervous system. For sure you will have problems with, I don't know, uh, your lungs, your kidney, and also solar plex connected with this together here is also the stomach. And because emotions are so connected to our basic needs, a lot of people who have eating disorders have just an issue with this center here. They maybe have it defined and don't know how to deal with the emotions because nobody ever taught them, or it's undefined and they think they're emotional and that's why they compensate by eating to get rid of the emotions that are not even theirs. It's from the neighbor coming through the wall, so to say. You see what I'm trying to get across here? How fascinating this is? Just this basic surface stuff, just in like 30 minutes, what I can share with you? In my experience and in my perspective, this knowledge has the potential to transform not only you, but how you work with your clients, with your partner, with your friends, whoever it is, with your child. As I said, my partner is using or applying this, working with children in the age of 3 to 10, teaching art and language. Portuguese she teaches, and she uses art in the sense of using traditional materials and blah, blah, blah. And for her, it's so good. She says, "Ah, it's so amazing that I know that he is a manifester and he is emotional. So I know how to take him, so to say. And I know that this person is a generator. He's just Seiko, so I know, he just needs questions. Would you like to do this? Uh-huh. There you go. Instead of telling them what to do. Because if you tell a generator or a manifester, do this, their whole body will go, they the energy is not there. And we know this, but we do it to our children. Clean the dishes, bring out the trash. Instead of, could you bring out the trash, please? I mean, this is rare that we do this with our children or our partner. I mean, the partner has to do this, right? I'm in a relationship for Christ's sake. But it's not true. It's about respectfulness. It's about the interaction based on correctness. So what happens if you have this open here, the center? You avoid confrontation. You know, you avoid confrontation. That means somebody can blackmail you. If you leave me, I kill myself. Okay, I don't leave you. You don't go into the confrontation. You don't share your truth. You're always friendly, smiling. Hey, I'm coming in peace. Hey, I don't want to rock the boat. Harmony. You never tell your truth. You never say, it's enough. I don't want this anymore. But it's necessary because the moment you do this, your nervous system finally can go back into its natural state. because you let go of the emotions that are not yours. You don't identify and marinate in toxic emotions from other people. I don't know, but do you like that? You enjoy that? I do not. So this is just some. Also here, I said my configuration is where, and you see it right now, 70% of people have an open head center. 7 out of 10 people I can influence with my defined head center. So when I'm sitting next to somebody and they say, I have an idea. It's like, okay, what is your idea? And they will tell exactly what I just thought about 30 seconds ago. And I tested this many times with people I know and I did not know. It's crazy. It was so funny in the beginning when I played with this that I was laughing all the time because they exactly said it how my inner monologue was saying it. Exact the words. Wow. So for sure, what is this world doing to 70% of the people? They condition them with ideas and inspiration to buy things and do things that are not correct for them. You really need this new and improved thing. Better buy it now. 20% discount. And then you go for it, even though you're not aware of it. 2 weeks later, I could really buy some new laundry machine, or yeah, maybe, blah, blah, blah. You just got conditioned, that's all. Somebody planted a seed of inspiration in your head, and because you think about things that don't matter all the time with an open head, you think it matters. Oh, that is very important. It's very important to think about how, I don't know, how the neighbor makes money. Very important to know that. Why? I have a possibility with my definition because it's defined. Remember, it's reliable, it's active. I have a possibility to know what is important to think about. And I can say 90% of the stuff that people ask and think it's important to think about is not important. Especially not for their own life. You know how many people, what is the meaning of life? Who gives a shit? What would it change if you would know the meaning? Nothing. You would still be alive and need to go to work and pay your rent and eat and shit. You know? It's not like that you would be different. Stupid before enlightenment, stupid after. What to do? And then we have something, when we look at all this definition, this colored and uncolored things in the chart, through this mechanisms, through this dynamic that goes on there, we can point out what is your type. Okay. And there is 4 types. You read every now and then that there's 5 types. It's not correct. There's 4 types because type is aura. But yes, there is a manifesting generator that is a subtype of the generator. Okay. The same, I'm a mental projector. I'm a subtype of a projector. Just to give you this and right away destroy the myth of the manifesting generator is it's its own type. It's not true. So, and there's a basic differentiation between types. First of all, there is energy types and there is non-energy types. So we have generators in here and we have projectors in here, right? So the generators that are watching right now, you are here and you have access to your own energy all the time. It's reliable. It's always there. It's consistent. You never think about because it's always there. It's like your hand. I shared in the other way. Ever thought about how that you have a hand? Maybe when we smoke weed, we all like, whoa, I have fingers. But usually in the most times we don't think about those stuff. So this is so uh, it's so obvious that we take it for granted and never think about this. But the non-energy types, projectors that are here right now, they think about this energy all the time. Like, oh, okay, they have so much energy. How can I get so much energy? What do I need to do to get energy? How can I gain more? How can I gain access to energy? How do I use energy? How can I be more efficient with the energy that I have? How can I multiply energy? Projectors are always trying to figure out the energy game. And then the generator's like, "What? Energy? Oh, I have enough energy. I have so much energy that I can work in a job that I hate for years because, I have enough energy." It's funny, huh? And the projectors, they look like, "Oh God, what's going on? Why they are doing this? Why?" And then they come, and the projector says to the generator, "Can you not work in this job? You're much better." And the generator says, "Oh, go away. Who asked you to tell me what blah blah blah?" And the projector gets bitter, and the generator gets frustrated, and they both hate each other. And you know what? Projector and generator, they are lock and key. They are the future. If they learn to work with each other correctly based on their differentiation, wow, would we have a beautiful world. Because the one side brings the energy and the other side brings the coordination. Perfect. It's like a beautiful orchestra where you sit and you have a good, what is it called in English? Orchestrator, I guess, you know, who who guides the energy, the music, that it plays well and rhythmic in the flow. And there's trust on both sides. It needs both to work. And obviously, there's a manifestor too and a reflector. I don't know if you have a manifestor client, it's very different to treat them. I mean, to treat a generator, we already have common sense because most of the stuff we know is for generators. You know who you are. It's a generator propaganda. Generators are here to know who they are. If you are a projector, manifestor, or reflector, you're not here to know yourself. You're here to know the other more than knowing yourself, especially for projector. The projector is here to be focused on the other and know who the other is. Projectors, sometimes it's so funny because, they don't even know or see that they're sick and need the other to tell them, "Oh, you look a bit pale." Oh, really? They don't see this, but they see everything on the other right away. Oh, you did this, you have this. Oh, you're frustrated. Oh, you're not in a good mood right now. They see it right away. They see the potential. Projectors are here for seeing, generators are here for being, so to say. Well, so if we would put those four types into a metaphor, the manifestor says, "Here, I wrote a book. I would like to be, I would like this to made a series for Netflix." And he throws it to the manifesting generator or the projector or whatever, somebody. Maybe the projector picks it up and says, "Oh, that's very interesting. I can coordinate some people, but I need an invitation. I cannot just do it." A manifesting generator comes around and says, "I have the power and I have the initiation power and the will to do it. Give it to me. I will find some crew, actors, uh, people for the camera, all of these, builders who help, assistants." And then the projector is the director, so to say, who directs them. The manifesting generator is the team leader. The generators are the actors and this and that. They do their thing. The manifestor is somewhere else and every now and then gets an update. And the reflector is the judge. Is the public that says, "Oh, very nice, very nice. We want more. More. Give us a second season." Huh? Just to give you a metaphor. And all this together, this can create a wonderful world. But right now, the projector tries to be a generator, and the generator tries to be a manifestor, and the reflector is so lost that most of them die anyway too soon. Sorry that I have used harsh words, but it's the truth. And the manifestor is the only one who can initiate all the time. And you know what they do? They sit under the trees like, "Oh, please, love and life come to me." It's so funny. It's the only one who is independent and able to initiate. If you're a manifestor, you want love, go get it. You want a job, go get it. But who's doing this all the time? Generators and projectors. You know, all the time pushing, initiating, go get for it. We even have brands that say, "Just do it." No, just don't do it. I say, wait, wait, let life come to you. Everything is there. We live in abundance. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to prove. You don't need to be in a hurry. It will come to you. And all of you know that because you, at least once alive, you experience that things will come if you just wait. I'm sure you experienced this. We not always need to fight for things. I mean, there is configurations where there is definition that says, okay, you need to fight for stuff. But if you have this definition, for example, of having these aspects of being a fighter, For you, it's fun to fight. You need it to feel some kind of purpose. And so it's good again. So now the question is, do you want more? This was a little bit. We have 2 days coming up, and those 2 days will be intense. They go deep. And I'm pretty sure that after those 2 days, you will work with the people or or even with yourself in a very different way. You will see things clearly. I mean, that's my job. I'm here to coordinate. I'm here to make you successful as who you are. And now I'm open for some questions and hopefully can give an answer.